is the end of June. What the heck? How did that happen? Currently unknown. We're heading into the second half of the year. How did that happen? Currently unknown. But that does mean it is time for a July TBR, so that is what we are here to talk about today, and I am very excited about my July reading plans. On my Patreon, I have decided, it was kind of discussed and then collectively decided that we are having another monthly reading challenge on my Patreon, another little community. I have no synonyms for the word challenge. Another challenge of a kind. And we are tackling a July of Dragons. Live studio audience. So in July, I plan to read only dragon books. And the challenge is open to people on my Patreon as well. We've got a dedicated Discord channel for it, and there's going to be plenty of dragon themed sprints and so on over there. Of course, if you're not part of my Patreon and you think it sounds like a cool challenge, then go right ahead. But we're going to have a little community moment with it, attacking it together. I'm going fully only dragon books in July. That is all I'm going to read. People don't have to take it quite that seriously if they just want to try and read more dragon books than usual. But that means I have a whole lot of dragon books that have been pulled off my shelf by Alicia. I'm not going to take any credit for that. She can reach the top shelf, I can't. There are a few of them, 3 of them, that are my top priority must-read books for July. And then 11 honourable mentions, might put them on a spinner wheel throughout the month. Maybe I'll just mood read from those 11. We'll see how the month goes. But there's 3 that are my top priority must-reads, so let's chat about them. Before I do that, actually, there will be a theme in this of the only thing I know about any of these books is there will be dragons, because otherwise I don't know the plots of these books. I will be going into a lot of them very minimal knowledge on what they're actually about other than dragons. So don't expect me to be able to describe any of these. Firstly, one I'm really excited about, mainly because it's just so gorgeous, is The Dragons of Deepwood Fen by Bradley P. Beaulieu? I don't know how to pronounce that. Bradley P. Beaulieu, let's say. This is the Broken Binding edition, and it is gorgeous. I mean, the standard cover is gorgeous anyway, but oh my good god, it's such a beautiful book. I love the artwork for it. Do I know anything about this other than quite evidently dragons? No. I feel like there's a Robin Hood-esque group, and then it's not at all. The Red Knives. Why did I think Robin Hood? Ooh, there's a notorious thief posing as a dragon singer. Maybe the thief is where I was getting Robin Hood from. There's more to Rylan than meets the eye. He has come to solve the mystery that's been discovered. Ooh, his incarceration could lead to the Red Knives achieving their goals. Lorelei makes a fearful decision. She frees him. So Lorelei is an inquisitor, and a mysterious trip leads her to this Rylan thief person. And then the 2 of them are branded as traitors. And they flee the city on dragonback. I really want to read this. Gives me good vibes. So that is book number 1. Book number 2, again, there's dragons in this one. Dragon Rider by Taryn Matharu. This is about a dragon rider. There's a person who rides a dragon. I believe the dragon rider shouldn't actually be capable of riding a dragon, but he steals a dragon egg. Jai has spent his life forced to serve the cruel empire. That's it. He's like a political prisoner or something like that. Something goes wrong. There's a bit of a coup, and he is able to escape, and he seizes the opportunity to take revenge on the people who had imprisoned him by stealing a dragon egg. And I think that by him hatching the egg, he becomes like bonded to this dragon and then becomes a dragon rider, I think. I don't know, I haven't read this, obviously. But I went to the event with Taryn and Sebastian de Castel and heard him speak about this, and it sounded cool, and it hadn't been like massively on my radar before then, but clearly he's passionate about it. He would be, being the author, and it was great to hear him chat about it, so it made me a bit more excited for it. And now I have it, and it is signed. So book number 2. Book number 3 is an embarrassing one that's been on my TBR for a very long time, and it's the last in a trilogy that I just keep putting off getting to, but it is Fury of a Demon by Brian Nasland. This is the 3rd book in the Dragons of Terror trilogy. So, Dragons of Terror. Dragons. There do be dragons. The first one is Blood of an Exile, and we follow an exile, and in this world, when you are sentenced to exile, you have to become a dragon hunter and hunt the dragons that plague the nation. And in his exile as a dragon hunter, he becomes very famed for this, and it turns out he also has some sort of connection to the princess, and there is more to her than meets the eye, and there is a few crazy characters that have a funny idea of what to do about the dragons and with the dragons, and the plot does thicken, but in our first book, yeah, we follow the famed exile as a dragon hunter, and it's changed a lot since that first book. Like, the plot in the second book definitely takes a turn, and I'm really excited about this. I've loved the first 2. And I just keep putting it off. So, Fury of a Demon. They are my 3, like, top priority. Would really love to get those 3 at least read in July. And that then takes us on to the honourable mentions, which I will try to fly through because there's a few of them. Fly like a dragon. So I'm not going to talk about each of these for too long. Just know that I think there's dragons. First up, The Ninth Reign by Jen Williams. I think this is like sci-fi-esque, but the second book has a dragon on the cover, so I believe there may be dragons. It's got a great reputation, lots of people love this book. I haven't read it yet. Maybe I will too. Next up, we have Fireborn by Rosaria Munda. This one, again, I've heard a lot of people have loved this. I don't know anything about it other than people love it. Emma, I'm mainly reading this for Emma's sake, because I think Emma will attack me if I don't, but it's got a fantastic reputation. Lots of people have loved it. There are dragons. There is a revolution which gives way to a governing class of dragon riders. Exciting. And our main characters are rising stars in that regime. Interesting. Next up we have The Black Coast by Mike Brooks. Oh, little note sticking out of there. This one was gifted to me by Amanda. Thanks, Amanda. War Dragons. War Dragons, fearsome raiders, a demonic warlord on the rise. That sounds fantastic. And Mike Brooks is actually a local author to me as well, which is a fun fact. The rest of this trilogy is out. I don't have them, but I would love to love this and then have the lot of them. That would be a nice little touch. But yeah, War Dragons sounds great. Next up, I have Of Blood and Fire by Ryan Cahill. Dragon Guard. The land is divided by war and mistrust, blah 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 blah. Kept by the Dragon Guard, traitors of a time long past who serve the Empire in the North. Are there actual dragons in this, or are they just called the Dragon Guard? Unknown, but the word dragon is on the back. I did start this. Can't remember anything about it, so I'm just gonna have to start it again. That one. Let me know if they're actual dragons. Next up, we have Dragonfall by L.R. Lamb. The last male dragon, a desperate thief, a bond that will save the world or shatter it. Could be romancy. But with a dragon, I'm not sure. Humans betrayed dragons, stealing their magic and banishing them to a dying world. Centuries later, their descendants worship dragons as gods, but the gods remember and they do not forgive. See, that sounds so good. And it is gorgeous. Like, a very dragony book. And one that is definitely a little bit rogue for me. Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I don't think I'm gonna like this. Heads up. This is more fantasy romance and not... I just don't think this is going to be for me, but I'm going into it with that expectation. If I actually do go into it at all, we will see. These are just going to be options for the month. But I feel like everyone knows what Dragon Rider is about. No, wrong book. Everyone knows what Fourth Wing is about. Dragon Riders. And there is like a war school, war college, and they get paired up with dragons, and then there's a romance. Yay! Next up is The Two-Faced Queen by Nick Martell. Alicia tells me that there are dragons in this, but she can't give me any more information about that because spoilers of a major plot point. But the way she says it makes me think like maybe not traditional dragons, but dragons enough for it to count as a dragon book. But I don't know what that means. But this is the sequel to Kingdom of Liars, which I read last month, I do believe. I didn't love that, but Alicia tells me that the second one is better and is your favourite of the two.
Yeah, I've not read
Yeah, hasn't read the third one yet. So I might get to this one. I do have the audiobook for this one, actually, as well, so that might help. But, yeah, I just love how beautiful these books are. Gorgeous. But don't know how dragony that is. We will find out. But follows Michael Kingman, whose father was a traitor, and then he also is... Well, father was a traitor? Still up for debate, but killed the king's son. And then maybe Michael killed the king, which who knows. Next up, I have Witch Sign by Den Patrick. This one has been on my TBR for such a long time. I have the whole trilogy, haven't read the first one. But in this world, I'm pretty sure dragons were gods. Yes, it has been 75 years since the dragon's rule of fire and magic was ended. Out of the ashes, the Empire was born. Ooh. May the gods help those who bear the sign of the witch in a world that was once ruled by dragons. Interesting. Next up, I have Ascendant by Michael R. Miller. This is self-published. This is a naked hardback. How beautiful. This one was mainly sold to me because I'm told there is food-related magic in here somehow, and I don't quite understand why. I did meet Michael at Comic-Con, and he has said, what would you do in a moment of madness? Ride a blind dragon? Maybe?
Maybe.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure too much what this is about. The cover makes me think bonded to a blind dragon. Not sure how that goes, why that goes, but I've heard good things about this. I'm excited. And finally, the last one I have is The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. I have read the Faithful and the Fallen series by John Gwynne, and I have not read anything else, and I need to, so this seems like a logical choice with that big old beautiful dragon on the cover there. I don't know what this is about. Is this Norse-inspired? The greatest sagas are written in blood. A century has passed since the gods fought and drove themselves to extinction. Now only their bones remain, promising great power to those brave enough to seek them out. Ooh, whispers of war. 3 warriors, a huntress, a noble woman, and a mercenary. All 3 will shape the fate of the world as it once more falls under the shadow of the gods. A Norse-inspired world packed with myth, magic, and bloody vengeance. Love that. That doesn't tell me anything about the dragons. But there's a dragon on the cover. Are the dragons the gods? Not if it's Norse-inspired. Unsure. However, this was gifted to me by Claire, and it feels relevant to say what Claire's gift note was. Claire sees cover. Ooh, that looks like a dragon. Jade loves dragons. Buys immediately for Jade. Jade does love dragons, hence a July of Dragons. And there are all of my dragon options for the month of July. What ones do you think I should prioritise? Do let me know if there's any that you think are like absolute top tier must reads outside of the 3 that I already have said are going to be my must reads. I don't know if I might put them in a jar and pick from it, or do a spinny wheel, or just mood read from it. We'll see how it goes outside of those 3 priorities for me. But yeah, let me know which ones you think I should absolutely get to. Also, what is your favourite dragon book? That is another thing I would love to know, because I feel like although there's a lot here, I need more on my radar because Jade loves dragons as we have established. So yeah, let me know what other dragon books should be on my radar. What are your favourites? And if you fancy joining in for a July of Dragons, I will leave the link to my Patreon down below. You can come and hang out with us. It's open to all tiers. There will be plenty of sprints, and it's from just £1 a month to join my Patreon if you fancied that. Little plug there. If you don't want to do that though, and you just want to read dragon books for the fun of it, what will you be reading? Let me know. Well, that is everything for this video. That stack is too big for me to hold up, so I'm not going to do that. But I hope you have enjoyed hearing me ramble about dragons for a little bit. Thanks for hanging out, and I shall see you, hopefully, in July for some dragon-themed reading vlogs. Bye!